From the Schmoes Know Network studios in Los Angeles, California, it's time for Jedi Alliance with your hosts, Ken Napzok and Maude Garrett.
Hey there. Welcome to Jedi Alliance. This is a celebration of the greatest saga ever told. My name is Maude Garrett.
And I'm Ken Napzok. Happy to be back for episode 2 of the Jedi Alliance. We have a very special guest joining us in a few minutes. One of the Schmoes Know head schmoes, Mr. Mark Ellis, will be joining us soon to, we're going to put him through the Star Wars ringer. I'm excited to see what he can do.
Apparently, he's quite the fan. He has said that nothing will go over his head. So, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. If you have liked us on our Facebook page, just look up the Jedi Alliance on the Schmoes Know Network. Give us a like. We are doing daily discussions on there. And I love reading all the answers that everyone's providing for our top 5 questions.
I literally have gone through every answer on there.
Same.
We love it. You guys are participating so well. Also using the hashtag Jedi Alliance on Twitter, which we've been going through, getting some fun stuff there. You guys are leaving great comments and reviews on iTunes. We appreciate it so much.
Oh my gosh, they're all positive.
The show was a beast this week on iTunes. Can we take some credit for what we've put out into the universe?
I love it.
My therapist would approve.
We did the Kessel Run easily in under 12 parsecs. We started off, what did we slot into first?
We hit like top 5. Then we slid back down, which I figured would be kind of normal.
Yeah, because everyone had their fix and they were breathing. They had to pass out after that whole excitement.
So we got back to like 13, 15 in TV and film. And then all of a sudden, by Friday night, boom, back up to 4.
That's amazing. May the 4 be with you.
May the 4 be, and that's because you guys, the fans out there, have been so warm and receptive to the show and join us in the celebration of the greatest saga ever told. That's our theme here. That's the fun. This week we're joined by a little co-host this week. Look at that. Oh, Jabba the Hutt now on the desk with us. So last week, Maud Mothma, which might be your new name, right?
I know. That was a suggestion made on YouTube in the comments. I'm so excited about it.
We had our first duel of the Fate segment. TIE Fighter versus X-Wing.
I know. And I liked TIE Fighters, mainly because of the way that they sound. And I think they're quite sexy. And they do look like a bow tie.
How did they sound?
We're going to do this. Okay.
As perfected by the Garrett family over holiday seasons when they get around the table. That's what we learned. I took the X-Wing side. We pleaded our cases.
We certainly did. We
put it to Facebook on our Facebook page, the Jedi Alliance on the Schmoes Know Network, and the final results are...
Yes, on the poll system, 23% to 77%.
Oh, really?
In favor of the X-Wing.
Thank you, fans, for supporting me.
Don't get cocky, kid.
Oh, good call. Good call. What's that flashing? Well, that was good, but that was fun.
That was great.
We're going to have a great Duel of Fates this week with Mark Ellis participating, and I think you fans are going to love that one too. So also, we did our Star Pause last week, which is something you're going to deal with every week, fans. You're going to enjoy it. We get to quiz each other.
Yes, I bought a Trivial Pursuit, the Star Wars edition, and in it you have a pile of questions. So... during the show, we each have a Star Pause, and we get to yell that whenever we want, and that will challenge the other person to select a card and answer the 5 questions. And of course, however many you get right will be tallied on a board, and whoever wins is obviously the Star Wars champion of the universe.
Now, last week, you came out firing at 5 out of 5. You were great.
It was lucky.
You keep saying that.
Yes, it was.
I think you're a bit of a pool shark here.
And my questions were easier. Like, without a doubt, they really were. I couldn't answer a couple of yours.
Right.
So, if we chose in the
I came in 4 out of 5. However...
yes, something has been deliberated. It was brought to our attention on Twitter using that hashtag Jedi Alliance that in actual fact, one of your questions that you were answered incorrectly was correct. Right.
The question was, what did the Y-Wings basically do once they got in the trench? I'm paraphrasing. I answered rear deflector shields. The card said front deflector shields.
But there was an image that was posted and the caption was, use the rear deflector shields.
Yeah.
So you were right.
So I submitted maybe a 4.5 out of 5. You want to go full 5?
I think you deserve it. I think that maybe the questions aren't always right. The GPS, they don't always take you the correct directions.
That's true. That's true. What a classy competitor you are.
I think you should get the point for that.
Okay.
The proof was there.
5 out of 5.
There was evidence. You can't contest that.
We'll see what we do this week. And this week with a guest involved, a little bit of different. If one of us wants to claim that guest to help us in the trivia, we get to do it.
Okay.
It depends on who goes first. Also, our kind of personal week in Star Wars. For me, I started reading an advanced copy of A New Dawn, the book that's the canon-approved official novelization. Well, actually, it's not a novel. It's a novel, and it's going to lead into the new show Rebels. I just started reading this weekend. Nice. It's already good. The characters are good. It feels like a Star Wars story. That's exciting. And I'm letting you know I started reading it. And also Christian Harloff of Schmoes Know started reading it, and we're going to do a preview on it here on Jedi Alliance at some point before the Rebels show comes out. And that's going to be fun.
Cool. Well, that comes out in October, so you've got a little bit of breathing room there. Me, I've been really going hard on the YouTube videos. I'm following my nostalgia, and I looked up the top 50 Star Wars quotes and watched them, and it was so lovely. Number 50 was, "Many Bothans died to bring us this information." Fitting. What do you think number 1 was?
What do I think the number one top Star Wars quote?
If number 3 was "May the Force be with you," when Han Solo said it, what's number 1?
No. I'm your father?
That was number 4, I think.
Really?
I am your father. Yeah, I know. I was like, what is number 1 going to be? Apparently, according to this list, it is, "I find your lack of faith disturbing."
What? Mm-hmm. No way. I've got a bad feeling about this.
I got a bad feeling about this.
I love when she does that.
Every time.
That, or my favorite, what is now my favorite quote, "Through the planet core." I find your lack of faith disturbing.
How many times have you dropped that in conversation, though?
Never, but you know what?
Always.
Really?
Yes.
I drop more times than not, I drop impressive. Most impressive.
Yeah, that's easy too. But the fact that you do not use "I find your lack of faith disturbing" makes me find your lack of faith disturbing.
Oh my God. If I had the force choke, like I said, I won it last week. I get it. Also, did you play a little bit more of the Knights of the Old Republic?
I did play some more of the Knights of the Old Republic. I finally, unleashed the ship, the Ebon Hawk.
Right.
Which is great, but you get so lost around it.
That's
it's
some
no
points.
Normandy.
You get some points or something like that?
No, you get the whole galaxy is now opened up to you. So this is when I get to go to the different planets and explore the universe.
That's good. Well, let's bring in our guest. You've already heard him cough in the background. He is one of the funniest stand-up comics I know. He's also one of the main driving forces, co-creator, co-host, co-face of the Schmoes Know Movie Review brand, and now here on the Schmoes Know Network.
And apparently does not own any other pants except basketball shorts.
That is a fact. Please welcome Mark Ellis, our first official guest. The Jedi Alliance.
Thank you. My God, it was good to be here. I've been wanting to do this on your show for so long that I had to own the network to get it. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope I'm not crashing your guys' party, though.
No.
And I mean that because I don't want to be like the dad at like the Sweet 16 party that's like talking to the kids like, hey, I used to play basketball back in the day, so if you kids want to hang out.
That explains the shorts.
This is not dad coming home and ruining the party. I'm just happy to be a part of the program.
Well, you are our very first guest, and there was a lot of deliberation. We felt that you fit it perfectly.
Well, damn right. Plus, you guys are the most successful show on the Schmoes Know Network right now. So I got to get the Schmoes Know Movie Show numbers up by being on Jedi Alliance. Make sure you check it out Thursdays live, 6 to 8 p.m. PST, kids.
On schmoesknow.com. Well, yeah, we did deliberate because we know at some point we're going to open up to guests. Sometimes it just might be her and I talking about Jabba quotes or something like that. But we want guests. We want to share in the joy of the universe. And you are one of the people I know just loves and celebrates this saga as much as we do.
Well, there's a weird thing with being a Star Wars fan because now I think that with all of the other artistic endeavors you can have with Star Wars, like this, for example, like the novels, it's just not. I read a few when I was a kid. I love Star Wars so much. It's my favorite movies ever. However, I'm not as up to date on all the other canon and all the stuff that happened before or after the films that were made.
That's a very grey area for me also,
yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah. Well, I think she exclaims that she is an enthusiast more than an expert, and I think that's our approach here. Yeah, I know a lot. People were saying, hey, you did great on trivia, but she was 5 out of 5. We know our stuff, but we're always open to learning. There's so much in the expanded universe and a lot of these properties, the New Dawn, Rebels, there's so much to learn.
And there's never an element of, oh, you didn't know that. Oh, you're not a Star Wars fan. Everyone's a Star Wars fan in some degree. Some people have just seen the original movies, but I've noticed in the comments, especially on iTunes, thank you so much for rating and reviewing, I'm not really a Star Wars fan, yet I still learn and enjoy what the show's about.
I'll paraphrase David Lee Roth, and I'll say everybody's got a little bit of Star Wars rumbling around inside of it. It surrounds us, it penetrates us. Star Wars binds the galaxy together.
Beautiful. If you had the over-under
you.
on Ellis referencing Van Halen, you took the under, you won.
Well, Mark Ellis, you are joining us on the show. So to put you through the paces, we're going to ask you the top 5 questions that we asked ourselves and that we will be asking every guest and that we've asked you on our Facebook page already.
That's right. You guys had a lot of answers out there. These are the top 5 most important questions for any Star Wars fan. So,
Okay.
Mark, are you ready?
I am ready. This is not trivia, right?
No,
Because
this is not
I'm
trivia.
emotionally spent from my battle with Cobster on the show Thursday. So trivia is going to be tough for me, but I can answer some questions about my history with the universe.
This is just personal experiences only.
Yeah.
Oh, I
mean,
can
it could be
tap
wrong.
into that all
I'll
day.
let you know if it's wrong.
Tell us about the first time. Your first time you watched Star Wars, and which movie is your favorite?
The popping of the cherry actually occurred before I remembered because I was an Air Force brat, so we moved around the country a lot, like every 2 years. And apparently, after its initial run in theaters, The Empire Strikes Back came into a theater that was on an Air Force base in Panama City, Florida, where my dad was stationed. So apparently, before I remember it, I actually saw The Empire Strikes Back on the big screen. Was my first movie experience. The first one I remember seeing was Return of the Jedi on a second run, and I think that was at another Air Force base, and so like in 84 or 85, and I loved it. My favorite part about Return of the Jedi when I was a kid, I think to this day, is the skiff scene when, Luke, because he used to do that on the diving board,
Right,
like try to turn around, and maybe I busted my chin a couple times trying to do the flip back up.
The music hits. Oh, yeah.
When Luke Skywalker does the salute to
Who does he
R2-D2,
salute? There it is.
and he
Good.
shoots the lightsaber out. That is one of the coolest scenes I've ever seen in any film. I love that scene so much. So because of that, going off that, I think Return of the Jedi is my favorite Star Wars movie.
That's
I really
the bonus
do.
question. So it still is. It's carried over.
I think that you could look at Empire and maybe have a more interesting film class.
That's the mature decision to make.
Yeah.
I've noticed that as well, but I'm with you. Return of the Jedi. It was just the most completed feeling after watching the trilogy. They made everything just feel like it was
satisfying
right.
because
Yes.
the end of Empire, it's a little bit of a bummer. I mean, they try to make it happy with Luke putting his arm around Leia.
Right.
We don't know that
But that was
creepy yet.
That was going to get really confusing.
Yeah, we didn't realize that it was another 3 years before we found out they're from my hometown, any place in the South. But I think that the happy ending of Return of the Jedi, and that's why that's the most bumming experience for me for the re-releases, is that the music got changed at the end. The celebration music on Endor got changed, and I love the music from when I was a kid.
Yep.
Yeah, I want some Yub Nub. Daddy, some Yub Nub.
Alrighty, that's question number 1.
Absolutely. God, we could go for an hour on question 1 here.
I'm trying to keep the show to a reasonable length here today.
That's
so
part of your job.
Booked the wrong guest.
Daddy Schmo, isn't it? Huh? Let me ask you this question then.
Yeah.
This might be a little difficult to answer. Favorite character? You
My
have to
favorite
choose
character is so easy, and Boba Fett's a really neat character, okay? He's a really interesting bounty hunter. The correct answer is Luke Skywalker. Okay?
We haven't actually heard that from too many people.
It is rare.
I love Luke Skywalker because he's what you call the hero. And people get so up and they're like, oh no, Han's really cool, or
Do you know why?
Chewbacca roars.
Because Luke doesn't get the girl. I think every young guy's
We're
hero
programmed.
is the one that gets the girl.
Let's be honest.
That's a
Everybody,
good point. That's a good point
But
she makes.
everybody got the girl. If Return of the Jedi was 10 minutes longer and you saw the fallout of what happened to that party that night, everybody got laid. Everybody got
Everyone got
laid.
laid.
We just blew up the second Death Star. Han's nailing Leia. Chewbacca's nailing God knows what. Lando Calrissian.
Ewok.
Yeah, Wedge is going home with an Ewok. Like, that Wedge has some creepy sexual proclivities.
Wedge
So what you're
does.
saying is 15 minutes after the movie ended, Han Solo's holding Leia's hair back as she pukes over the side of the Ewok village, right? Is that what's going on?
That's a good night. Is you burn your dad in a funeral pyre. 10 minutes later, you're looking at his ghost. 10 minutes after that, you're like, is it weird if Yoda and Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi are their blue ghost self while Luke is going to town on some chick, and he's like, can you guys not be looking at me right now?
Is there
This
a limit
weird.
on when you appear? Because there's sometimes
Put your hand up further. Come on.
Anakin just goes, that's my son. That's my boy.
Luke, you switched off your targeting computer. What's wrong?
Okay, great.
Yeah, I go Luke or R2-D2 is a close second because R2-D2 is a very unsung hero. R2-D2 really is the reason why anybody has any success in these films is because of the scrappiness of
Yeah.
R2-D2.
He's the problem solver. There is no, anything that he can't do. And they just keep coming. He can zap, he can program, he can do
He
anything.
has rockets, apparently. But I'm glad you mentioned that. We're going to come back to R2 later on in the show. Last week, we discussed our favorite force powers. Goody Two-Shoes Jedi over here wanted Jedi mind control.
I actually made a really good decision.
You made a very good decision.
You made a very good decision.
Thank you.
She's good at that.
These are not the droids we're looking for.
wanted the force choke.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Just the look of mirth on Ken's face when he was force choking a female, it was a little creepy. I think that if I was a Jedi, my force power would be to not let you have that power. Because I'm trying to protect the universe.
So what would you choose?
I love in The Empire Strikes Back at the beginning when Luke's hanging upside down because he got kidnapped by the Wampa, and he uses the Force, and he can actually
it's telekinesis.
make objects shoot into his hand. I think that'd be awesome. Like if you're looking for your car keys or something. Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking for a day-to-day operation. I'm not trying to save the world. I just want to make my life easier.
You have chosen the lazy man's power. But it's over there. Wrong.
Him on a Sunday afternoon on Buffalo Wild Wings watching football. This is what he wants to do. Just bring the wings closer.
Yeah, just shoot it back in your head. I mean, that's why I went to Dagobah and had that little green Muppet on my back running around the swamp, fighting with snakes and lizards and stuff, is so I could make my Sundays a little more relaxing when I'm trying to watch the NFL.
I think that's a great point. Star Wars is quotable. We're going to be quoting all times on this show here, but what is your favorite Star Wars quote?
My favorite Star Wars quote. My high school quote, my senior quote was from Yoda. It was, "Do or do not, there is no try."
Yeah.
That explains a lot about your romantic life.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Being wrinkled and green also explains a little bit. My family's such huge Star Wars honks. Like, we all just got into it, I guess, around the same time when we were little kids and movies were coming out. So the one that we quote in and amongst my family the most is, "You'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy." It's a great one.
I've actually already used it today.
Yeah. Have you really? Yeah.
Yes.
It fits so in with the Ellis lifestyle. So we might as well quote the Mos Eisley Cantina.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
She used that when she came to my apartment to do pre-production for the show. It's accurate.
And the last question.
Yeah.
And feel within your soul if you really think this answer, like if you know the
Search
side.
your feelings.
Okay.
Would you turn to the dark side?
I don't think I would turn to the dark side. I really don't. I know that when the video games come out and people want to be the evil guy, but that's why Luke's my favorite. Like, I always wanted to be good. And I mean, look, I'm pretty mentally weak. Like, if I took the Scientology test, I'd probably be giving them my bank account number.
Right,
it's like,
okay.
You play some Pink Floyd and give me a lightsaber, I'll give you whatever money you need.
I'm surrounded by two goody two-shoes who like the good side of the Force.
I mean, I guess it's like whatever you do when you're feeling angry. Do you give in to your anger?
Not really. I'm pretty low-key. Like, I don't get road rage. I don't really get that mad at people. I raise my voice occasionally if I'm on stage. If there's a heckler, if I'm doing a show and somebody tries to heckle, then I'll use Ken's Force choke.
Okay.
But then I'll feel bad about it afterwards. So remember, like, at the end of Return of the Jedi, how Luke kind of was a little bit of a douche at the end when he's fighting Darth Vader and he cut his hand off, but he had to, right? That's how far I would take it.
Right.
Is I would have moments of dark side and then I'd apologize at confessional.
So you could be chaotic good for all the Dungeons and Dragons players out there.
You look at this, man. This is a real fan, and I know a little bonus fact about you. What was your license plate in your home state?
My first license plate, it was a glorious Honda Civic, and it was great. It looked kind of like an X-Wing, so I figured, what better license plate than Red 5?
Oh.
Red 5 was my license plate, but I had to get Red V, the Roman numeral, because some other bigger nerd than me took Red 5. And another fun fact about Mark Ellis, this is how much I love Luke Skywalker. When I was a kid, in my younger days, I had a bit of an exhibitionist period, right? I was 19, who knew? No, I was 5 years old, right?
Right.
And I used to answer the door naked, and as I would answer the door...
With your lightsaber.
Whoever, it was a tiny lightsaber. I didn't inherit my father's. And I opened it, and I would always proclaim to whoever was at the door, "I'm Luke Skywalker."
Put on a tunic, kid.
I'm starting to think maybe my dad wasn't in the Air Force. We just had to move every 2 years.
Maybe that was it.
You gotta get
That's
that
why
naked kid out of the neighborhood.
I was actually going to draw everyone's attention to Mr. Master, Kenobi's shirt, who is wearing the Red 5.
The Red 5
Oh,
shirt.
look at that.
Red 5 shirt.
Well done.
It might have a little bit of hot dog drip on it from lunch, but it's good.
Mine wouldn't look any better.
Absolutely. So next up is our segment, Renewed Hope. And we're so happy to have Mark Ellis joining us. You're going to help analyze some of the news. It is This Week in Star Wars News. It, of course, is hosted by our very own Queen Amidala.
Thank you, Chancellor. Council. I'm on the stage. First in the news of the week. Donald Gleason is his name. Donald or what?
I think it's Donald.
I call him Donnie.
Domino. There's way too many
Donnie
consonants
Don.
in that name.
Bill Weasley.
And as a poor named person, I feel like I can comment on difficult names.
Maude.
Donald Gleason, is so scared to reveal any information about Star Wars Episode 7 that he breaks out in a sweat when he talks about it. No kidding. He actually recently appeared on Huffington Post Live, and obviously they wanted to talk about Episode 7. And he brought up the fact that the confidentiality agreement is so thorough and so thick that they tell you what you're allowed to say. And that's one line.
Wow.
And Donald is going to say that.
Really? No, it says you're allowed to say that you were excited to be in the movie.
Okay.
That's it.
No, that's it.
Yeah, that is literally all you're supposed to talk about.
What was it like to work with J.J. Abrams?
I am excited to be in the movie.
That's all he can say. And
he
of
can
course,
say.
everyone is looking for any kind of piece. I don't know if you've
Sure.
seen these Star Wars websites. They are reading into every single tweet. They're monitoring everyone who's attached to Star Wars in some way, and they're reading into everything.
Look, you got to make the effort to have the Shroud of Secrecy. It's so much harder to do than when they were filming Blue Harvest, the
right.
horror movie that was actually Return of the Jedi.
A horror beyond imagination.
The media cycle now 24/7. I love what Donnie did, and I think that everybody should strive to do that. They got so many questions coming from, and he actually did the perfect thing, because if somebody asks you a question, you just have to have an answer. It doesn't have to answer what the question was, and so by throwing it all in the confidentiality agreement, just talk about how complicated that thing is, and then you've answered a question, not the question you were asked, but I don't want to know anything about Star Wars until the movie comes out. I really don't. I don't even need to see a trailer. I get it. You got my money.
I wouldn't mind a name of the movie.
Okay, fine, we can have a name. As long as it's not Attack of the Clones! Exclamation point. War!
Look, they all face this. They all truly excited to be on it. All of them are. So I know, it's a struggle for the actors. There's someone in their family that knows everything. They can't release it to the public, and I think it's great for all the actors to kind of play along with it, like you said.
And now being on the other side of it, when we had Andy Serkis on the Schmoes Know Movies show, and I asked him about Star Wars, it's like, I got to ask you because I'm a huge fan, so it's in my DNA to ask, even though I may not want it. Maybe that's me tapping into my dark side a little bit.
A little bit, just far enough.
Just a little. I don't own a red lightsaber, but I've played with one before.
I'm reading into the wrong way.
Queen Amidala, what do we have next? Address your people.
Thank you. Star Wars may be taking over Disney theme parks. Well, we have heard about this. We did post it on the Jedi Alliance Facebook page. Basically, in 2015, it will bring the first official news of the Star Wars integration into Disney theme parks. Now, the Disney CEO, Bob Iger, didn't go into details, but he did say that plans have begun, and the official announcement will be next year.
I'm so excited. So are the gardeners in the back. They're excited too. I mean, can you imagine? I have friends who are big Harry Potter fans, and they've been making the trip out to Orlando to the Harry Potter Wizarding World out there, and they're being emotional. Their tweets and their Instagram pictures have tears.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan, so I'm going to be there crying myself. Are we going for a field trip?
I'm totally
Yes.
in for a team field trip. We could rent. The only reason why we wouldn't rent a charter like RV is because the drive across country would take 4 days, and it'd be like going to Vegas. You know, when you're excited for 2 hours and you just take a nap. Like, I don't want to wait 4 hours. We're gonna fly to wherever this damn theme park is. It's not news to me. I mean, it'd be news if they weren't going to do something like this.
I
Because
think they're going to build on a specific part of the already established theme parks.
Yeah.
So the Star Wars that they already have.
they'll have like the Star Wars wing. You know what they should do? What they should really do is take Epcot Center, which is the biggest cock tease of all time, because you walk in there, Mickey's on top of it in the commercial, and you're like, what's in there? Is there Coke? Is there strippers? No, there's learning. There's math problems. That's all that's in Epcot Center, is they make you learn stuff when you go in there. So turn that into the Death Star.
Yes.
And then you can walk in and then just have Epcot Center be the hub of the Star Wars theme park universe.
Before we get to the final story, I want to ask each of you, what would be one thing you would want in this Star Wars theme park or section of the theme
Slave
park?
Leia strip club. No, let me...
Sold.
Yeah.
You know how the Gravitrons, the circular ones that spin you around, you can go and defy gravity? I'd like to see a Death Star version of that.
Oh, wow.
I'd like to keep it a little simple and just go back to my roots on Tatooine when I used to bullseye Womp Rats in my T-16. I think I just like to have a Womp Rat shooting gallery, and you can drive around in a T-16 and the land speeder and
I was
shoot
going to say
some
the
stuff.
land speeders should be the Dodgem cars.
Yeah.
Over Tatooine.
Mine's similar. I'd like to be in an AT-AT or an AT-AT, as we're still going to debate. I'd like the simulation of fighting on Hoth, which seems very dark, that my goal would be to kill rebels and blow up their power generator.
Yeah,
but I think that would be fun.
Man, I didn't realize what a Dark Lord of the Sith we're working here with.
Yeah.
Is it you and Harloff? There's always one master and one apprentice.
I'm the young Padawan, but who knows? Maybe it'll teach me all the right in the world, and then I'll realize that the dark side is more fun.
Unlimited power.
You're so scary. And the third piece of news is that Star Wars charity, the Force for Change, has successfully raised over $4 million.
Yeah,
And the winner,
all right.
the winner has been announced.
Oh, to be who's getting the tour of the set and they give him a small cameo in the movie.
That's right. His name is DC Barnes. He's from Denver, Colorado. He actually was asked, when he was announced, they go, when was the first time you saw Star Wars? It was in theaters in 1977 when he was 5 years of age.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Now, he is going to be on set, yes, and check it out and hang out with JJ for a bit, but they are going to put him in a costume and he will be not featured, but in a scene of the movie.
That's awesome. And I think you and I are having the same reaction. Isn't it great that it's a guy who was there in the theaters?
Yeah,
in
you want a guy
77?
that was there for all of it. The guy that went through, he was 5 years old when he saw the first one. He suffered through the Christmas special. He went through all the longing and hoping in the early 90s that maybe, hey, Jurassic Park came out. That technology looked pretty cool. Maybe we get movies of Star Wars again. He went through everything, and now he gets to be in the movie and tell his friends, that's me.
But what if he's not a Jedi in the background? What if he's like the back legs of a Dewback that you don't ever see,
Well, no, that's
Dewback?
yeah. I'm not giving DC a lead role in this thing. I think like everybody will ask you, what would if you were in Star Wars? I don't want to be in Star Wars. I don't want to ruin the movie.
Right.
I
Because
don't want it
he's
to
the one
be
in the background going,
two fighters against a Star Destroyer. I don't want to be that guy. Everybody making fun of me because I had one line and I blew it. I don't want that kind of pressure.
Yeah,
So just
yeah.
put me in a costume.
but you want to be recognizable. You wouldn't want to be like,
Yeah.
if I was a Twi'lek, can we say Twi'lek?
Twi'lek,
or
yeah.
Twi'lek, great. It's kind of recognizable, but you've also got these huge tubes coming out of your head. It's like green or blue.
It's like Lucas and Sith appearing as like the big blue guy at the cathedral event where when Anakin runs past him.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
Anthony Daniels in the bar in Attack the Clones or Sith in the beginning, I should say. So yeah, he's going to be in a market someplace, or he's going to be like that old lady in Phantom Menace who's like, storms are coming at me. Like that's all you need to give him.
Yeah, you know what? Put him in a
But I'm happy
costume.
for him.
Let him have a line. If the line sucks, cut it.
I'm happy for that guy. He looked genuinely happy in that video, as he should be. But
I'm excited that $4 million was raised for UNICEF.
Yeah, let's not forget that.
And Disney actually added an extra $1 million on top of that as well.
see, they're not the evil empire.
I know, isn't that right? But it's like, haha, everyone loves us.
Make it rain.
That mouse is just throwing singles.
That's great. Well, that is renewed hope for this week. Thank you, Queen
You're
Amidala,
welcome.
addressing her people in this week in Star Wars news. Oh wait, Star Pause.
What?
Yes.
Is this the trivia?
This is the trivia. I would like to challenge you, Maude Mothma,
Okay.
for some trivia.
Because we are at 5 aside
we're at five
now.
at 5 now.
Yeah.
Are you going
I'm
to take
gonna-
this challenge yourself?
No, I'm going to utilize our guest right here.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Really?
So
Yeah.
now I'm playing for Maude, for the benefit of Maude Mothma.
Okay.
I think are we going to collaborate, deliberate, or am I just going to...
Here's how I think it should work. I will ask you. If you feel stumped, I think you jump in.
Okay, all right,
You're
cool.
a
You
team.
should know that I won multiple Star Wars Trivial Pursuit games in
I don't
college.
think I'm gonna be
and
opening my mouth.
I ran the table a couple times.
You
like,
should know that at Room 5 one time in 2010, I beat him in a trivia contest and took his Red 5 license
That's
plate.
right. That's right.
Really?
Ken is one of the owners of the 2 Red 5 license plates. Yeah.
I'm going to actually get Ellis to select randomly a card so that I can
I'll cut
blame
the deck.
him
Mr. Ellis?
should anything
I've
happen.
played me some blackjack
Mr. Skywalker?
before. Here we go. That's
Okay.
our
right.
ticket.
Okay. All right, are you ready?
No, but let's go.
Let's do it. This is Star Pause 1. Whose last words were, "They'll be hell to pay"?
There'll be hell to pay.
Who would even say that?
Uncle Owen.
He got it.
Ah, good.
Uncle Owen said
Owen
that, yeah.
Lars.
Yeah, when Owen's just muttering to himself about like his crappy moisture farm, he's like, "Oh, it'll be here at midday, or it'll be hell to pay."
Amazing.
Uh-oh. So we
Yeah.
got one. How
Yep.
many chin-mounted laser cannons are found on an Imperial Scout Walker, an ATST?
Oh, where's our...
Oh, we just had one.
You've
last
taken
night.
that away because
I
it helped
hit
me
it.
in the last time.
Yeah.
I mean, does that count as one
It's
or
either
two?
2 or 4.
Yeah, but do they count as one?
I'm going to need a final answer.
Can you read the question again?
All right. How many chin-mounted laser cannons are found on an Imperial ATST?
I'm gonna go with. I would
say
say
2.
2. Yeah.
The answer is 2.
All right, way to go, Monty.
All right. What power did Leia claim she didn't understand?
That would be...
The thing, the Force.
Yeah.
All
the
right.
thing. We're just
Yeah.
gonna
You
call
got
it.
it.
The thing. The
That
force.
thing that my brother can make crap float.
3.
That thing.
Great.
How many hops did Chewbacca's holoboard game piece move forward before its unfortunate capture?
I love that question.
He'll rip your arms off if you
he'll
lose
rip-
against him.
yep,
but
rip it right out of the socket. How many hops?
I think you did 2.
I was going to say 3.
Then
but
I'll
I'm
defer to
gonna
you.
do- What are we going to do about this?
I'm going to need a final answer here.
I'll defer to Maude.
What? Okay, what sounds better? Or blah.
I mean, yours, both of them just sound so good. I'll say 3. I'll go with Maude.
Oh, dear.
5,
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well,
3,
I thought it was
2, 1. Your answer is
3.
3. The answer is 2.
Oh, man.
You should have
that
trusted
hurts.
Ellis. All
I
right.
know.
Wow.
Lesson
3.
learned.
Still at 3. We got 2 more questions on this card. What duo rescued Lando from the Sarlacc?
Oh, there we go.
Well, Han shot him in there. Oh no, he was trying to rescue. So then it would be,
Yeah, it would be Han.
and then R2D2 has all the hell.
No.
No, it was C3PO.
No.
Then tell me.
C-3PO doesn't help. He just complains.
Ew, oh gosh, what's going on?
Chewbacca was holding Han.
So, okay, there you go.
Correct answer is Han Solo and
Yeah.
the mighty Chewbacca.
Hold on, when you really think about it, the only duo is kind of those two. Okay, great, good.
Yeah.
All right, you guys got 4 out of 5. We got one more on this card. What, according to the Emperor, would be complete if Luke struck him down in hatred?
Oh, he's turning over to the dark side.
The circle is complete.
You're right, but I would like you to answer it completely correctly.
Oh, what? Really?
I'm going to give you the point.
Yeah.
But I want one of you to answer it exactly right.
And your journey towards the dark side will be complete.
That's what I wanted. Yes.
Thank you.
Mark it down. 5 out of 6 on my Star
Oh,
Pause
there-
challenge.
there's 6 of them.
There's 6 on this card.
There you go. There's
Very
six.
good.
So you're up to 11 points.
I'm really upset that I just should have trusted you. We learn a lesson.
I shouldn't trust women that much. That's the lesson that I
That's
just
the
learned.
lesson that he
Yeah.
learned.
Wow, we went there.
You're far too
Wow.
trusting.
Far
There we
too
go.
trusty.
Okay.
All right. Well, that was Star Pause. Again, we do it every week, twice a show. At some point later in the show, Maude will get to challenge me if she feels she wants to lose. Now up is Duel of the Fates. It is one of our centerpiece segments here. It is time for Duel of the Fates, where 2 sides are chosen, and it's for you, the fans, to decide which is superior.
Just to recap, we did do X-Fighter versus the X-Wing last week, and at 23% it was TIE Fighter, a whopping 77% was the X-Wing. You do get to vote, so if you haven't jumped onto our Facebook page, like us, and then contribute to this topic, because your vote will decide the winner.
The poll will be on the page. Also, you can hashtag Jedi Alliance on Twitter and find us and join the conversation there. This week, we have, in Duel of the Fates, what is the better death, Jabba the Hutt or Emperor Palpatine? So, that is our debate. I'm going to start with you.
There's just so many pros to both. There are no cons on either of these. There's so many great parts of it. We've got a Jabba right here to kind of
Right.
stress the point. The fact that I feel that when Jabba died at the arms of Leia, who was chained up, I feel that was a really empowering moment, because Leia kind of felt like, I mean, she held her own. She was the one that had the plans for the Death Star. She risked her life time and time again, but she never ever really tapped into her force.
Right.
So,
Right after that, she tweeted, "Just strangled Jabba the Hutt to death." Hashtag yes, all women. It was very, very empowering for her.
but she is clad in next to nothing. She was just the slave of Jabba. So the fact that, I don't even think that was a part of the plan. I think she went, I could kill him or I could leave
I'm
him.
going to do it, right?
And the reason why I'm going to decide this is because, ready?
Yeah, let's do it. Ready? All right.
Oh yeah, role playing.
It was the tongue wiggle. That'll get it. The slump and the tongue wiggle.
Slump. All right. Excellent points.
Look, if I had to choose a way to die, it would definitely be with a hot chick choking me to death. I mean, a lot of people have done that by accident. That's autoerotic asphyxiation. That's a bored comic in a hotel room on a Saturday night. So I've been in that situation before. But the better death has got to be the Emperor. Now, I'm going to qualify this by saying that not when Darth Vader screams "no" at the end. The original way it actually happened in Return of the Jedi, with Darth Vader having this debate amongst himself. He's looking at the Emperor. He's looking at his son. He's looking at his Emperor. He's looking, oh, what do I do? And then he just picks him up and he throws him off the thing.
Right.
And it's just it's such a powerful moment. It is that at that moment you realize that this isn't just a story about Luke Skywalker. It's about the rise, the fall, and the redemption of some
Vader.
dude named Anakin. And that makes Star Wars that much more magical in the universe, that you can be this bad, evil dude and redeem yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, if Darth Vader had survived that, it's a weird day at work the next Monday for everybody. Like, hey, this is my dad. We realize that he destroyed some people we love. He blew up a planet full of billions of people. This is going to be his office. So, and just get to work. Let me know if
It's
you
got a
need
lot of
anything.
force. We're just, tuning and tweaking what's good and what's not.
You're at the Rebellion. Every Friday's casual, so you want to wear a Hawaiian shirt. It's kind of fun.
My gosh.
I absolutely agree that death is very, very important. It's key to the story. It was great as a child when the Emperor dies and all that energy and evil energy comes racing back up from the generator. It scared me in a way that kind of intrigued me.
Like The Exorcist.
But it killed him in the end as well. It was his demise. He sacrificed himself to kill the Emperor. And I thought,
so there's a lot of emotional weight into that part of the story. You got Luke getting electrocuted in his teeth. Taking the shot, that famous shot of his teeth, getting all the lightning on it.
Dental hygiene.
I, though, am going to come down on the side of my co-host here, Maude, and say that the better death was Jabba the Hutt's struggle against the chick in the bikini.
Yeah, well, you got to give me a better answer then, because she looks really hot.
Well,
when she's
here it is.
choking him.
Like she said, it is... Leia in the still bikini is a sexual awakening for my entire generation of men.
Yeah.
It is an iconic moment that we have turned into this very sexualized girl in still bikini.
And we still get to enjoy a Comic-Con every year.
Right. But the truth of that moment is that is one of the most powerful members of the Rebel Alliance. In Star Wars A New Hope, you kind of view her as the leader. Growing up, you didn't realize there was a whole other... It was like, oh, the princess who's saving her people with the stolen plans. We actually got to see that in motion where she's like, oh, you're going to chain me up like some kind of wall decoration? I'm going to choke you out. And I love that moment. And then even Salacious B. Crumb getting it from R2 is part of that too. And watching her, it terrified me a little bit as a kid because, it's this violent, it's probably the most violent thing in the Star Wars
It's very aggressive.
saga.
It's very raw,
very aggressive.
visceral.
And like I just did, my favorite part of it is that slump.
Yeah. It's a pretty wild start to that movie when you kill the Rancor and you kill Jabba the Hutt. He's going down inside while there's this chaos going on around him outside. It's just such a fantastic scene. And then we get to have a nice little break. It's like a great 80s rock show because it just opens so strong. Then we come down with the ballad, which is when Yoda dies.
Right.
And then we bring it back up for the encore towards the end with the space battle.
Absolutely. So that has been Duel of Fates. They can go to the Facebook page.
Certainly, cast your vote. Which death do you think was greater? Was it the fact that Leia in her gold bikini did choke out one of the slumlords of the universe? Or was it when Darth Vader sacrificed himself to kill his master, Emperor Palpatine?
Go to the Facebook page, like us, and get on the poll, which will be available later tonight, or after this episode hits, I should say, and weigh in, and we'll have the final results, the total for you next week, just like last week where I won the debate with the X-Wing over the TIE Fighter. This week it's 2-1, Jabba over the Emperor.
Hey, yeah, I took the Emperor, but I can totally agree that Jabba the Hutt is a pretty sweet death.
See, I actually think, the more we spoke about the fact that Vader killed Emperor Palpatine, I really enjoyed that death as well.
Oh, you want to turn?
Well, this is the first time you kind of felt sorry for Vader when you spent the first two movies hating him.
The first time I felt sorry for Vader was when he had to choke out those ridiculous Imperial officers causing him problems at his work.
I felt bad for Vader when he had to deal with all that sand. It's hard, it's coarse, it gets stuck in places.
Oh, dear. All right, moving on.
Moving on.
This is your turn to shine.
I'm very excited about this segment, and I love the name of it.
It is called Forced On.
Love it.
Now, the expanded universe is so big that we're going to take one part of it for you and force it on you. So maybe you didn't know about it. It could be a comic, it could be a movie, it could be any of the expanded universe. But we're going to put the spotlight on it and force it. But you're going to force feed us
That's right.
your
Mr.
topic.
Ellis, you have the floor.
Yeah, no, look, if you guys want to talk about the expanded universe as far as novels and actually quality entertainment go, you have Christian on. He can talk about Knights of the Old Republic or Darth Plagueis or stuff like that. What I want to talk to is harken back to the 80s and mention, everybody's familiar with the Star Wars Christmas special, the animated thing, the introduction of Boba Fett. They may not be as aware that in the 80s, there were two movies that came out after Return of the Jedi that were based on the Ewoks. And it's so weird to look back on those films. It was Ewoks. Battle for Endor was the one that I remember the most. And then there's also, what was the other one?
The sequel was Caravan of Courage.
Caravan of Courage, yeah.
An Ewok adventure.
It's just so odd because we were so starved for Star Wars material after Return of the Jedi, and we got these TV movies. I'm just thinking, what does the adult Mark Ellis, if he was alive in the 80s, what would I have thought about that? Would I have been excited? Would they release it in theaters? Now, what? What would that have been? I just remember as a kid watching it being like, it's kind of cool to see Ewoks. Plus, Wilford Brimley
Yes.
was in Ewoks Battle for Endor. I believe, and I might be wrong about this, I think the guy that played the head cop in Die Hard was also in it.
Great.
I think he was in one of them. I
think you're right.
And there was an Ewok that was really fast. His name was Quicksilver that Jete just loves. It's like his favorite character in any Star Wars movie is the really fast
Our
running.
engineer, Josh the engineer, Jete.
Yeah.
Quickly, Josh, was that your favorite Ewok?
That's the thing I remember the most from that movie. I remember the bad guy looked ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I just remember that little guy was super fast. It was a new superpower in the Star Wars universe.
I think some of the bad guys looked like the bad guys on the skiff in Return of the
Yes,
Jedi.
yes.
They, I don't know they're the same species, but I remember there was...
Weequay and that kind of look, yeah.
There's a classic scene when they come up to a little castle and they got to shoot a hook and then climb the wall of the castle. All your classic adventure, motifs were in there, and you go back and watch it and it's pretty silly. But
Right.
Ewoks Battle for Endor is what I'm forcing on you today.
It was an event, and I don't know if you had the chance to see it, Mon.
What year did it come out?
85.
Yeah, I wasn't born.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere
Yeah.
around there. There's these things called VCRs, Maude, and if you really wanted to see something, you could tape it, then it was just yours for eternity.
I'm going to one-up you there because, yes, there were the live-action Ewok movies,
Yeah.
but there was also the cartoon series.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
droids
I would
too, yeah.
get the Ewok cartoons, and I would watch all of those. We would rent them on VHS back
Yeah.
in the day in the school holidays, and that's what I was obsessed with. And I remember that we all had to pick which Ewok was ours. Like with Ninja Turtles, it's like, who are you going to play as? Who's yours? Who are you? And I remember there was again a white one, and then there was the brown one. It was like a wicket kind of looking one.
Yeah.
But their theme was Ichiwawa, and that was like in the theme song. Ichiwawa, and that's what I would watch.
I can tell you from watching, I was like, Mommy, tonight it's on 8 o'clock on ABC. We're watching this Star Wars movie. And for me, it was the hope that the continuation of the feelings I had watching Jedi and
New
all the
Hope?
other ones, New Hope, and I had a hope for it. Yes, but then you said even
Nice.
even at 10 years of age,
Yeah.
halfway through the movie, I'm like, this is not what I know.
You knew
what's
it wasn't
happening.
Star Wars, and you think of you look back on, you're like, okay, the guy who they hired to direct that movie, did he call us? He was like, yeah, I just booked a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
I'm directing the next one. It's called the Ewoks.
You had like
Caravan
a
of
little girl
Courage.
who was like Drew Barrymore Light from E.T. kind
Yeah.
of thing, and Wilford Brimley, and I was like, that's a guy from Our House, the TV show Our House.
Our House, yeah. Before he was the diabetes spokesman on a horse.
That means
Diabetes.
nothing to an Australian. But
You guys don't get diabetes?
You
Wow.
don't?
it's not. We don't have
Their diets are so much better.
Your marsupial pouches prevent you from getting diabetes. That's incredible.
Hop to it, Skippy. Warwick Davies was in it again, wasn't he?
I don't know if
I
Warwick
don't know if
Davis
he was.
reprised his role. I believe Wicket was around. I just don't know. I mean, Warwick Davis. Look, he
pretty
was
sure
the
he was.
little person to call, and still is today. If you need a leprechaun, if you need an Ewok, Warwick Davis was the guy.
or
so.
just him. And
Or a professor at Hogwarts.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
Mark, thank you so much for leading Forced On. If you have not
Oh,
seen,
you're welcome.
If you have not seen Battle for Endor or Caravan of Courage, get drunk and find it on VHS. You're doing it now?
Yes.
Okay.
I can't even say it. I yelled out "forced on" just to really drive it home.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
now you ask Kenny questions.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is Star Pause round
Master
2.
Kenobi versus Young Padawan.
It
I'm
is-
asking you a question.
It is 11-5 right now in the overall competition. Should I pick my card?
Randomly pick-
Let's do it.
select.
Let's do it.
Okay,
Let's
now
get to it.
if Kenny somehow is stumped and doesn't get it right,
cool.
then can he go to me? Can I help Kenny, or was I only on Team Maude today?
I'm
Not that
gonna
I'm
pick
rooting
that
for
card.
either
I
one of
don't
you
know.
one way or
You
the
know
other.
what? You know what? I'm gonna go it alone.
Okay.
Hey.
Oh, this is like when Luke went to Cloud City, and Ben's like, "Hey, if you go there, I'm not going to be around.
might
I'm
be
drinking
it.
with the guys tonight, and I'm not looking at Cloud City.
Maybe
Sorry.
I'll let you guys ask questions back and forth, but I'm going along.
Yeah, I'll let Maude do it. I want to watch the sexual tension manifest.
What?
Hmm.
God, you're such a guy. It's like anything. All right. Who introduced him? Who introduced himself to Jabba as a friend to Captain Solo?
Luke Skywalker.
Yes. Damn it.
You also dropped Jedi Knight in there. Hi, I'm Jedi Knight. You may have seen me on such TV shows as so.
I'm Troy McClure. Yeah.
What did the Emperor refer to as a Jedi's weapon?
His lightsaber.
That's 2 from 2. What emotion was Luke told he had successfully controlled during his first lightsaber duel with Darth Vader?
Fear?
Yes! You are correct.
This is a good.
Good.
I like
you were
this
gonna say
card.
anger.
This card's gonna stump.
It's a
him.
Luke-centric card.
Who opted not to destroy Dantooine because it was too remote? I wouldn't get this.
The answer is Watto.
It's Governor Tarkin again. Grand Moff Williff Tarkin.
Far out.
I answered it last week.
Yes.
Me and Tarkin are tight.
Sounds
Clearly.
like you and Williff are good friends.
What trio went outside the Millennium Falcon to investigate a Minox swarm?
Oh, Minox. Absolutely is going to be Leia, Han, and Chewie inside the mouth.
Yep.
You talk about sexual tension inside
Yeah.
that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Some of the best stuff in the trilogies right there.
And lastly, what surname was given to Princess Leia by her adopted family?
Organa. 6 out of 6, right?
That's right. Jimmy
That's right.
Smits gave her the name.
We are
right?
tied up at 11.
No. Oh wait.
Yeah, we are.
What? No, but you got the full points though. So you've actually got full points twice, and I've got full points and then 5. Remember, because
Okay.
we chose my decision over Ellis's, who is
Right.
clearly the superior.
Hey,
Jedi
we're going to
Knight.
get through this
You're
together as a couple like we do every situation.
So it's 11 to 10 overall.
Mm-hmm.
I was mistaken up top. I said you had 11. All right. You're right. Okay. You're right.
Oh
I know
wait,
you're
no,
right.
maybe it's 11 to 12.
It's 12 to
11.
11.
There you go.
All right,
That's why I'm on here.
We know Star Wars. We don't know math.
Stay in
For more
school,
math,
kids.
Danica McKellar will be on next.
Oh, Winnie Cooper.
Winnie
yeah.
Cooper teaching math. All right, good. Thank you for challenging me there. I felt I held my own there.
You did.
Even with Mark Ellis over my corner, over my shoulder, I should say.
I'm a heavy breather. Sorry
yeah,
about that.
no, that's good. All right,
You're Darth Vader.
we are going to celebrate the Star Wars saga, as we said here, but that, in my mind, includes a little bit of the prequel talk.
Sure.
I know.
I
Look,
don't want to.
I want to say right now, those 3 movies tore my soul out. All right? I waited in line for tickets in Winnetka, California for Phantom Menace in the spring of 1999. I got heat stroke while buying the tickets for me and my friends.
You
I
earned
saw
it.
Phantom Menace 8 times in the theater. It was about the 7th time that I convinced myself this might not be good.
It's not getting any better.
But I think it's important for us as fans we can't throw them completely out. They're in our lives. They're not going away. They didn't reboot them. They're adding on to the story. So I wanted to talk about 3 things here today that are actually good about the prequels. And I'm
Can
going
we
to
start off with
force...
the 3 bad things? Because we can do that in like 30 seconds.
We can do an entire show on bad things.
No chemistry, bogged down
bad dialogue.
storyline, and Jar Jar Binks, baby!
And reliance on CGI. It can go on and on. But this is about finding... We're trying to celebrate here.
Yay.
Maud Mothma. We're trying to celebrate. So I'm going to offer 3 quick points, and then I'm going to force you guys to add one, and then the fans on our Facebook page like it and join the conversation.
Yep.
And you add one too. Prequel bashing will come. We'll talk about how disappointing some of the aspects were. But for now, there's some
So
good
not know
things.
what you mean.
Yeah, go through the planet
Let's go.
core. All right, the music. No one can deny that it was John Williams at his finest. He did not lose a step. While in most cases the movies don't keep up with the emotions created by the score, there are moments. Ruminations from Revenge of the Sith is the example that comes to my mind, where it connects and we as fans get a glimpse of what the movies could have been. Duel of the Fates. No one can deny that is one of the best tracks in all of
That
the
is
the
an
music.
amazing track, Duel of the Fates. I've got that on my computer, and if I want to bust out a bit of yoga, I will actually put that on.
Yeah, you admitted you do yoga to Duel of the
Yeah.
Fates. Can
I'll
you
run. I run to score sometimes, and Duel of the Fates is one of the ones on there. But other than Duel of the Fates, I look at that. His prequel score is kind of like the Rolling Stones' Voodoo Lounge album.
Here we go.
Like, it came out in the mid '90s. It's still really good, but you can tell it's like, the Stones maybe there's a little bit of wear in there. It's still really good, but it's not the classics.
Fair enough, but I think there's some things in there that we can't throw out, not counting
Yeah.
the Gungan Celebration Peace Orb song at the end. We can throw that out, all right? Second one I'm going to throw up there is R2-D2 from the prequels. Yeah, I hated it too that suddenly he had rocket packs and
Yeah.
could fly. However, one of my favorite moments is at the last 30 minutes of Revenge of the Sith. Bail Organa, it's a throwaway line, Captain Antilles, he gives the droids over to him and he points at 3PO, not R2, points at 3PO and says, wipe this one's memory. That means R2-D2 knew everything. By the time you pick up in A New Hope, he already knew who was what in the zoo.
Hey.
He had the scorecard, and he kept it to himself.
He's just there to do his job. He's not there to rat on anybody. He's not there to gossip. He's a droid. He does his job well.
Right. At any point, he could have been in that X-Wing on the way to Dagobah and been like, hey, beep, 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 Luke, your dad is the guy we're trying to kill.
That's not his destiny, Ken. The whole thing's about destiny. Luke's
Right.
got a destiny.
But that's
he
what I'm
can't
saying.
be ruined by a droid telling him what his destiny is.
So that, to me, was one of the best moments. It was like Lucas kind of a nudge and a wink going, yep, R2
Yeah.
knew the
Yeah.
whole time. So I like that. And my final point, in Attack of the Clones, Jango and a gleefully preteen Boba Fett deploy something called seismic charges in an effort to keep Obi-Wan Kenobi off their table. The result is one of the sweetest sounds in the Star Wars universe. Just listen. As JT plays it.
Seismic charges. Stand by.
That.
And thus, Michael Bay grabbed that and turned it into every Transformers movie
right.
from then
That's
on.
pretty cool.
To me, one of the best sounds in all the Star Wars.
That's what
universe.
Don Cheadle used in Ocean's 11 to pinch to knock out all those casinos.
Are you
Absolutely.
into dubstep?
No, but I could be if every song was that sound
Wow.
effect. Love that. So I'm going to put it to you guys. What do you got?
For me, my wow moment when I was watching the prequels, I mean, like you, I was there with my family watching it in the cinema, and it was kind of like I was eating it up because I just loved it, and they could have thrown, feces at my face, and I would have been like, yes, which they kind of did.
Yeah.
But for me, it was the Darth Maul battle. He barely spoke.
Yeah.
He was so intimidating. You'd never really seen. You'd seen alien races, but you'd never seen what he was. The
Yeah.
spikes coming out of his head, the full face paint, the sharp teeth, and then the battle. Every other kind of fight sequence we've seen in Star Wars in the prequel. I mean, in the sequels, in the originals, it was a little bit tame. I'm not gonna lie. It was left, right, dead. There wasn't extreme flips that you'd see in the choreography, and these ones were amazing. And it wasn't 1-on-1. It was 2-on-1, and
Right.
it was,
It got multiple applause breaks in my theater every time I saw it, that Darth Maul fight scene.
It's coming from the front, coming
Yeah.
from the back. Qui-Gon was over there. You had Obi-Wan, and the fact that when he had the lightsaber, you're like, oh, it's red, obviously, and then he flips it to the side, and then it's
second
whoosh.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that for me
Oh,
was
that's
the
a-
pinnacle moment where I was like, there's what?
Yeah.
Every dude got a boner watching that.
Yeah,
Every dude.
it tied to when you're on the playground and like, hey, let's play Star Wars. Like that chills as a kid. Like I wish I
didn't
should
even
have thought
think of
about that.
that.
As
Yeah.
a kid. I didn't think about that.
So cool.
I mean, it's very dangerous
great
to
point.
operate both sides. Like that would be really
yeah,
quite hard.
great point, Mr. Ellis.
My favorite experience was when I handed over the $15 to the usher at the movie theater to say, hey, one for Meet Joe Black, so I can see the trailer for The Phantom Menace. And that trailer blew me away.
Yeah.
Every trailer that they had for the prequels was awesome. But that first trailer, you heard all these things for years, for decades about, they're making new Star Wars movies, and then seeing the trailer, seeing the way that every, hero's a journey, every journey is a first step, all that crap. And then you hear Darth Vader's breath, and then bum, 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 then they just show all these action shots. You saw the double-sided lightsaber. You saw Yoda again. He gives a nice little Yoda-y speech. It was the coolest thing I've ever, one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It's my favorite trailer of all time to this day.
it really is.
Wow.
And the one that closes with Palpatine looking like the Emperor going, wipe them out.
All of them.
Got me so excited. I still want to see that movie.
Topher Grace has that at his house. He made a cut of it. yeah.
Absolutely. Well, that has been Jedi Alliance Episode 2. Mr. Ellis, thank you so much for joining us on
I am
this
so
adventure.
proud of you guys because as a default producer of the show, you guys are knocking this thing out of the park. Thank you for representing the Schmoes brand into the farthest reaches of the galaxy. You guys are great.
Absolutely. And where can they find you on Twitter?
At 5150 Ellis. I got my stand-up dates that I always post on Twitter well ahead of time, as well as the Schmoes Know Facebook page. So just like that, and make sure you follow the Schmoes on Twitter at Schmoes Know.
Absolutely. And more of that later. We're going to wrap up the show right now, though, with what we do every week in memory. This week, my friend Maude, Mark, we're going to pay tribute to Rebel Trooper Peo Scramblus. Peo Scrambus. I'm not making that up.
Glad that wasn't a trivia
It is
question.
canon. It is a
Leia?
canon name. A lieutenant in the service of the Royal House of Alderaan. When Princess Leia, the young upstart senator from Alderaan, was racing back to the secret rebel base with the stolen data plans to the Empire's new secret battle station, she was under the protection of a small garrison of troops in service to the Royal House of Alderaan. The most veteran member of the team was Lieutenant Peo Scrambus. Scrambus had fought for the Alderaan forces during the Clone Wars, but transferred to the personal guard of his close friend, Senator Bail Organa. It was in that capacity that we as fans first saw Lieutenant Scrambus as Darth Vader and his Imperial stormtroopers prepared to board the ship known as the Tantive 4. Scrambus and his men positioned themselves at the point of
Oh,
entry.
he was one of those guys. Okay.
You know Scrambus.
Yeah.
You've seen his face. Gray sideburns, bushy eyebrows, and the wrinkles of a man who has seen a lot of things in war that he could never forget. He was the first human face you connected with in the Star Wars saga. He looked determined, pensive, and above all, courageous and ready to stand before great
He
evil.
looked like he had a night at Studio 54 the night.
He
previous.
was the rebellion. Sadly, that man who had been in the service of the Royal House of Alderaan for nearly 30 years met his fate while trying to keep the princess and the stolen plans safe. Some reports claim that he died in the firefight in that narrow corridor. Some say he was captured by stormtroopers and and later killed. Some say he went missing during the fight, never to be seen again. So, for his great service and ultimate sacrifice to the great cause of the rebellion, we salute you, Lieutenant Peyo Scrambus. He was 47 standard years of age.
He died doing what he loved for the greater good.
Many Bothans died to bring us that
Are you
epilogue.
kidding? You're really going to steal my line from me? We're so close.
Oh, I'm sorry,
We're
Miss Mothma.
so close. But before we get to the way we end Jedi Alliance here, we just have a few things. You can watch the show on YouTube by subscribing to youtube.com/Schmoes Know Podcast.
That's right. Catch the Jedi Alliance on iTunes and subscribe, rate, and review. It is important to our success, not just for this show, but to the Schmoes Know Network. You've all been so supportive. We've got great shows on there like Meet the Movie Press with Mark Riley and Jeff Schneider, the Schmoes Know Movie Show, the main show. That's the big daddy of the
Thursday,
shows.
6
And we've
8 p.m.
also got-
PST.
We got 2 new shows starting now.
Yeah, Profiles with the wonderful Scott Mance and a little lady called Alicia Malone.
Oh, I've heard of her.
Heard of her?
Yeah.
I'm not sure about her, but yeah, that'll be really, really fun. And a new one called Guilty Pleasures.
That's
obviously
right.
Going back to the movies.
Josh McCouga, Steve Simone, two of the funniest guys we know, are going to be talking about movies that they love that maybe they're not so guilty of. You're going to tune in to find out. So go to schmoesknow.com for all the shows. They're in the podcast section. So that has been the Jedi Alliance. For our guest Mark Ellis, Maude Garrett, I'm Ken Knapsack.
And thank you for watching, because many Bothans died to bring us this information.
For producers Christian Harloff, Mark Ellis, and the entire Schmoes Know Network crew, we would like to thank you for listening to the Jedi Alliance on the Schmoes Know Network. Special thanks to Kevin Undergaro and Maria Menounos, the author of Every Girl's Guide to Diet and Fitness, in stores now. To watch or listen to other Schmoes Know Network episodes, get movie news, and join the conversation, be sure to visit schmoesknow.com and find the Jedi Alliance on iTunes and subscribe, rate, and review. I'm the Pit Boss, and this has been a presentation of Schmoes Know